Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome to a special edition of the SMC podcast. Today we're talking all things Royal Rumble. Got a little preview for you, maybe a little NXT Takeover rundown as well. We are sans Caleb today. Apparently his voice box is giving him problems, so it is Rance and Karl today.
Outsider's Edge edition.
Outsider's Edge, yeah. So before we get started, Rance, what's going on? How you doing?
Don't really want to know what's going on, bro. You already know.
I do.
I have become the equivalent of Inspector Gadget. So
yeah, he's going to be walking around like DDP with the ribs taped up for the next 9 to 10 months, something like that.
Yes, this is my equivalent of the Jordan flu game. I don't have the flu. I have much worse. But yeah, it's all good. It's a wonderful day, man. I woke up this morning. I was just telling Karl, Thursday and Friday medically was some really terrible days for me with how I was feeling and some of the news I got. But I woke up this morning and remembered, Takeover's tonight, and I'm in a great mood. Yeah. So I'm ready for this, man.
There you go.
Royal Rumble, let's get it.
Yeah, so just real quick before we get started, I wanted to shout out a couple of people. So this morning when we first started, when we were getting ready to go, I knew I had initially thought Rance wasn't going to be available.
Yes, I was scheduled to not do this today, but I'm playing hurt.
Yeah, and Caleb as well with the voice issue. So I was like, shit, I guess I'm flying solo today. And so I actually reached out a little bit to some people, and I had Rob Daniels, the first fan. He was interested, but he's at work today, so he wasn't able to. And another friend of mine, Sean Burchison, who is a friend of the show, listens to the show, he offered to jump on. And right about the time he offered to jump on, Rance said that he was going to be available. So shout out to those two for at least trying to, help me have a feeling, because nobody wants to listen to just me talk for an hour. So
you do have your stands, Karl. You do have your stands.
Yeah, well, I might. Shout out to the stands out there.
By the way, real quick, you want to know who's a stand of yours, but you don't know? Ricky from Ricky and Clive is like a super Karl mark.
Is he really? I did not know that.
Shout out to Ricky and Clive. Today is Ricky's birthday.
Is he the Eagles fan?
Today is Ricky's birthday. Shout out to Ricky.
Okay. Is Ricky the Eagles
fan?
Oh, that's Clive. Okay, I get them mixed up. Sorry, guys. But Ricky's not the Eagles fan. That's probably why Clive isn't a fan of mine, because he's an Eagles fan. That would make sense. Happy birthday, Ricky. Keep being a stan. Whatever, I really don't like that term. I understand the meaning, but whatever. Anyways, let's move on. Real quick, before we start the Royal Rumble, let's do a real quick rundown of NXT Takeover. It is tonight. This is Saturday morning, so we need to fit it in. We can't go too long today. So real quick, I'm gonna let Rance kind of run through the card, say a little quick snippet if he wants to, and we'll make predictions, and then we'll jump right into the Royal Rumble. So Rance, go ahead with the
For
card.
the record, the reason I'm going over the card is because Karl doesn't watch NXT. I thought y'all should know that.
That's correct. That is correct. I'm going to make predictions based off things I've read on the internet. So go ahead.
Before we even get to the main card, I do want to just kind of throw out that the pre-show, which is going to be shown on NXT TV this coming Wednesday, is just as stacked, because we supposedly have Tyler Bate versus Roderick Strong for a number one contendership match for Pete Dunne's UK Championship. That's a huge match.
Nice.
TM61 is coming back, making their first match since Shane Thorne hurt his knee, and they got the two big video packages explaining who they were. That's huge, because TM61 is probably the best babyface tag team on the brand. And Nikki Cross versus Lacey Evans is going to be on that match. And if you have been watching NXT, Lacey kind of she's the lady of NXT, and she kind of made a heel turn where she kind of got this MAGA gimmick where she's talking about every other woman is beneath her and they're not a real lady. And we know Nikki's crazy as hell. So that ought to be a nice mix. So next week this coming Wednesday should be stacked. So before we even get to the show, to the card, I'm super hyped about this card. I think this is probably one of the better cards they've had. So we're going to start from the bottom and work our way up.
Yeah.
Just made this past Wednesday is everybody's favorite NXT son, the Velveteen Dream versus Cassius Ohno. That is a quite a confluence of styles. Um, the, yeah,
Yes, it
right.
is.
You would never expect them. Just to throw a couple of points about the feud. First and foremost, Velveteen was hurt the last tapings they had when Gargano won the contendership. So to play in with the storyline, Zelina Vega convinced William Regal that Dream deserved a shot at Gargano because Dream was supposed to have that spot and got hurt. He never lost it, he just got hurt. Then Dream convinced Gargano to put the title shot on the line. Gargano's on this kind of redemption gimmick, kind of like Sami Zayn was when he won the title. And Dream
Right.
and Gargano had one of the best matches of the year. And of course, Gargano won because it's Gargano versus Cien. But Cassius Ohno talked some shit to Velveteen after he came through gorilla position, and they got into it, and that caused the match. If you're not an avid checker of WWE Twitter or WWE's YouTube, which you guys need to understand plays a role in storylines. Like a lot of stuff y'all say, well, I didn't know that. It's on Twitter or YouTube, so pay attention. They did a
Yeah.
wonderful 8.5 minute introspective on the career of Cassius Ohno, starting from he opens it. It's called Inside the Mind of a Wrestling Genius, and it starts off him saying, "My name's Chris Broadlin. You might know me as Chris Hero, but now I'm known as Cassius." Like he goes into that. It's really good. So I'm looking forward to this match. The next match on the card, and we'll give our predictions afterwards. Just kind of want to run through the card.
Yeah.
The next match is Aleister Black versus Adam Cole in a Philadelphia street fight. I don't think I need to say anything else. I really don't.
Yeah.
They're probably the two most over stars in the company right now, NXT company. Aleister Black faced Adam Cole in the tournament to crown a number one contender for the NXT Championship. Black beat Cole clean as a whistle. In the Fatal 4-Way, Cole and the Undisputed Era jumped Black because they didn't want Black to win, and they've been making Aleister Black's life hell. And you don't do that with Aleister Black. So it's fun to see kind of the Dark Striker versus the cocky, conniving heel in a Philly street fight, no less. And those of you who have seen Adam Cole's Ring of Honor stuff, he doesn't look like a guy that does well with weapons. Just watch. It's going to be a hell of a match.
So I can only assume that all the Philadelphaites out there are going to be throwing unopened beer cans at our wrestlers in the street fight. That sounds like something Philadelphia fans.
They're a little
do.
more civilized than that. Yes, maybe if it was 1996, but yeah, we're a little more civilized than that. Plus, Philly loves Adam Cole, Ring of Honor, so Philly loves Adam Cole.
All right, that's true. That's true.
Speaking of the Undisputed Era, don't call us Red Dragon anymore. Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly, the NXT Tag Team Champions, they get their ass beat by the Authors of Pain. This match, I think, is significant for numerous reasons. Only because Authors of Pain have never gotten their, I think they haven't gotten their one-on-one tag team rematch. Because remember, when they lost to Sanity at Brooklyn, O'Reilly and Fish kind of made their re-debut and jumped everybody. And then they went into the 3-team feud. Authors of Pain beat the Street Profits, my guys, to win the number one contendership. And Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly have played wonderfully off of this, the Undisputed Era's kind of, we're better than you and we'll do whatever we want when we say we want type gimmick. Underrated. Bobby Fish, very underrated promo guy. So they've sold the match fine without having any real kind of altercations. And Authors of Pain are just beasts. And I'm sure this is probably their last hurrah. They should be getting called up soon. And Paul Ellering is killing them on Twitter. My man is like just going off. Probably the best build of the show to me is Ember Moon versus Shayna Baszler. Shayna Baszler hasn't wrestled a match since she signed NXT, and she's a number one contender. The way she played it is wonderful. Shayna Baszler has first and foremost. Quick tangent. People don't like MMA fighters coming into WWE, and what I'm about to say is a little controversial, but I stand by it. the world knows that professional wrestling is scripted, right? Not saying they're not athletes.
Well, we would hope so.
Yeah, right. Not saying they're not real athletes. Not saying that they're not trained in real disciplines. But what they're doing is predetermined. Whereas MMA fighters, they're real fighters. So even if you have an MMA fighter that has a terrible MMA record, they're still presumed stronger or tougher than most of the wrestling roster. That's just the way I perceive it, right? So Shayna, who we all know didn't have a very great go of it at MMA, she comes in and has credibility because we know she can legitimately hurt you, right?
Well, it's just like you go back to like the Dan Severn or the Ken Shamrocks or even, you know what I mean? Yeah, those guys that came
absolutely.
in.
So. And Dan Severn and Ken Shamrock didn't win ultimately a whole lot. I mean, Severn won a whole lot everywhere else, but not in WWE. But I bring that up to say that the build started by Ember Moon winning a match, Kairi Sane coming out, who we haven't seen because she has been hurt, and kind of seemed like she was going to challenge Ember for the title, and Shayna just walks out and chokes out the shit out of her, looks at Ember and walks off. Then she has I'm lying. She has had one match against Dakota Kai, and not only did she choke her out, but she broke her arm.
Makes me very sad.
Well, she'll be fine, and she'll get a nice little babyface push here soon when she comes back because she's likable. And then I want to say she choked out Aaliyah. You know, she's just choking out people randomly. Not to mention on the Twitter and on YouTube, she's choking out people at the Performance Center. Like she is just killing.
Yeah.
And Ember, who God give her a definable character, please, is you know, she knows she's kind of like the queen of the NXT Women's Division, and she takes that seriously, protecting everybody else and whatnot. Stand up to the bully.
Right.
And the dynamic was changed because normally the challenger challenges the champion. Ember said, "We're gonna fight. Whatever I gotta do to fight you, we're gonna fight." And Shayna said, "I'll fight you at Takeover," and she said, "Okay, you can have a title shot. It's all good." I would advise all of you to watch their sit down promo with Percy Watson. And it's kind of like the old JR sit down promo with Rock and Stone Cold before WrestleMania. It's just them, dark room, staring at each other. And it is an amazing promo. It is amazing. Ember was great, and Shayna had a line that was so cold. She was like, "I don't care what people." See, the difference between me and you is I don't care that people know how hard it was for me to get here. You know, and I know it's your dream, but I know this is all your dream. But when you wake up after I choke you out and you see me walking away with your title, that's gonna be me walking away with your dreams. And I was like, "Oh, yes." So, and I'm interested to see how the styles mesh because Ember is kind of a hybrid, and Shayna's just a bruiser. So I'm interested to see how that works. And of course, we have Andrade Cien Almas versus Johnny Gargano. Gargano is like he's on a swell of like legitimate. He's always been the best babyface in the company, right? He's Sami Zayn adjacent, so he's Daniel Bryan adjacent in terms of organic reaction from the crowd as a good guy. He's pure, right? He bleeds. His blood is white. He's pure, and Andrade is just an asshole. Even more so with Zelina Vega. I appreciate the long-term storytelling in this match with Andrade and Gargano having wrestled at Takeover Brooklyn just 5 months ago, however many months ago it was. And Andrade beat him because this is his first big match after Ciampa turned on him, and Zelina Vega threw a DIY shirt at him, and he lost his. He didn't see it.
Yeah.
And Cien took advantage. The rematch on NXT about 2 months later, same thing, right? So while Gargano's falling down, Cien is going up, challenging Drew McIntyre and beating him for the NXT Championship. To see Gargano scratch and claw, no Chad Gable, his way back up to the top to face the one guy he can't beat. It's a very, very well told story. Plus, I think we all know we're going to see a Tommaso Ciampa sighting. There's a reason we haven't heard anything from him. He should be healthy by now, looking at the timeline. You know, So yeah, that's your NXT Takeover card. It's in ring is going to be amazing. I think the storylines are cool because Velveteen Dream was hurt and Shayna isn't really wrestling. We didn't really get in, the Authors of Pain don't really show up a lot. That I booked a whole lot anymore for whatever reason. We haven't really gotten the best of builds in terms of face to face type situations. But NXT
Right.
has a proven track record that they could book Rance versus Karl, and we're going to go out there and wrestle a 3.5-star match.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to wrestle 6.25 since that's the new normal. But yeah.
Well, let's predict them real quick. I don't expect to get very many right, but we'll see what happens.
Start from the bottom, yeah.
Starting at the go ahead and start with the first match and make
Velveteen Dream versus Cassius Ohno. Conventional wisdom says that Dream has to win, right? He is the hotter star. He has lost his 2 marquee matches to Aleister Black and recently to Gargano. And Cassius Ohno is basically there to be a player coach, right? I question that thought process given the push he just got on YouTube with that wonderful video. But Dream has to win.
Yeah.
Just has to win.
Okay. So I'm going to say that Ohno wins. And I'm only saying that partially because Rance is right. Dream should win. And it's not that I think they would go against conventional wisdom necessarily. As much as I think as good as Dream is, it feels like he's kind of one of those guys where he's going to give someone just everything they got. And then at the end, he might come up a little short. Ohno seems like the kind of guy who might just knock him out.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that'll happen, obviously, but I think Ohno will win this match. I think it'll be another Aleister Black situation where, oh shit, this kid's not bad kind of thing. Well, but
it's very possible because both guys need a win. I just hope that Dream's character is so organic and so good, and I feel like they might want to do a babyface turn with him, but I'm scared as to how they would do that because him just not giving a fuck and having his own agenda is what made him so over. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Right. Both men need to win. So yeah. Next we have the Philly Street fight: Aleister Black versus Adam Cole. Aleister Black will not lose a one-on-one match, until he wins the NXT Championship.
Agreed. Aleister Black not losing until he loses the NXT title.
And Adam Cole is so over. I don't say this a lot. Well, I'm lying. I do say this a lot. Yeah, I'm lying. Adam Cole is so. Forgive me. It's early. Adam Cole is so over that he don't have to win. Right? Like he's Jericho over from an NXT standpoint, in that he could lose every match and then the next match he could win the title and nobody would care. That's the level of clout he's brought into NXT. Plus, he got a stable, so nobody cares. He can do whatever he wants. Right? Undisputed Era NXT Tag Team Championship match, and Undisputed Era versus Authors of Pain. I see Undisputed Era winning, Fish and O'Reilly sneaking out a win some kind of way. Akam and Razor have been great package. They have massively grown in the ring, and they finally cut promos in English for the first time. This past Wednesday, we all know they can speak English, but they spoke English on camera. But they got to get called up. Have to. There's nothing left for them to do.
Yeah. I would agree. Undisputed Era. Plus, I don't think you want the entire little group there with Cole losing probably. You don't want the whole group losing probably. And like you said, AOP.
Not in Philly either.
It's time. Yeah, there's nothing left. They're done. They should be on their way up. So, I would agree. Undisputed Era.
Plus, again, O'Reilly and Fish were probably in Ring of Honor longer than Cole. So, Philly would like to see them win. Ember Moon versus Shayna Baszler. I'm going to be weird here. I'm going to say that Shayna Baszler wins. I'm going to say that Shayna Baszler wins for one reason. Ember Moon probably will win, but I'm going to say Shayna's going to win for one reason, and it's because I think that I don't think it's going to be I don't think Ronda Rousey is going to have a one-on-one match at WrestleMania. I think it's going to be the 4 Horsewomen match. And I say that Because why would you put that much pressure on Ronda, who hasn't really had a chance to really fully train to have a one-on-one marquee match when Jessamine Duke has been training wrestling for a year or two, and Shayna is signed, and it'll make that match that much more relevant if Shayna walks into it as her general, as her like the Luke Harper style general on the right hand, as the best in the developmental company in NXT. So that's why I think I could be wrong, but I think Shayna wins. We have a rematch at WrestleMania or Takeover WrestleMania.
I also think Shayna's going to win. I don't think it's that crazy. Like, I mean, I know you think it is. I feel like Shayna is going to be one of those kind of like, when I know it's not the exact same thing, guys. So just when I say this, don't lose your mind. But like, kind of like when the Giant came to WCW and won the title on his first night, basically. You know what I mean? Stuff like, or even like Paige when she won the women's championship on her first.
Carlito won
right?
the United States Championship and the Intercontinental Championship on his first night on both shows.
And Shayna, with that legitimacy that she has with an MMA background, and I also think I don't know how everyone else feels about this. You kind of call Ember the queen of the women's division on NXT. I almost feel like it's time for her to go to come up too. She's been there a while. They've replenished a lot of that women's division the last few months, I guess, and I really kind of feel like maybe Ember might show up in the Women's Royal Rumble, which we'll talk about later anyway. But I could see. And granted, you don't have to be coming up to WWE to go and get into the Rumble, but I could see Ember also getting a call. So it would be a good way to set it up. You put the title on someone who's a legit badass. Ember goes out. You know what I mean? Like that. Those are ways you could do it. So I do think Shayna's going to win.
I don't know about Ember being in the Royal Rumble. We'll talk. Like you said, we'll talk about that later. But I do want to say this real quick before we move on from this. I'm from Houston. Ember Moon, Adrian, Athena. She is from Dallas, but trained at Reality Wrestling. So, and I've worked for Reality Wrestling in terms of helped out their shows and stuff. So I feel a kinship to her. But she shouldn't be called up, in my opinion, until she can get a discernible character. She has a character, but I don't think the character is over with the crowd. She's over because she's amazing in the ring. She's top 5 easily in the company. I'm talking about WWE and NXT. Top 5 easily. But she's got to be able to get over with the crowd from a promo and a character standpoint. And that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
So if she has to pull a Bailey and stay an extra 6 months, it's only better for her because she can back it up in ring. So
that's true. That's fair.
Moving on to Andrade Cien Almas versus Johnny Gargano for the NXT Championship. If Johnny Gargano loses this match, I'll eat my something. I don't know. I would be absolutely shocked if Gargano doesn't win this match because Cien Almas was always meant to be transitional, in my opinion. It was just meant to make – I think he won the title to make his NXT stay legitimate because he hadn't done anything of note, right? And with the guy with his background, La Sombra, like he was the king of they're going to kill me if I don't get it right. Whatever Mexican promotion he was at, CMLL or AAA, I don't remember. I want to say a CMLL. He was king. He was one of the top 5 wrestlers in the world. So it gave him some legitimacy. So when he does get called up, whether it's as a cruiserweight or on the main roster, he's legit former NXT champion. But the money feud for the money title going into the money show, Takeover New Orleans, is Gargano versus Ciampa.
Yeah, it is. I mean, let me ask you this. Does Gargano Ciampa have to be for the NXT Championship for it to be?
No, it doesn't have to be, but the story would work better. So looking back at, again, I'm a story guy, right? And I'm a guy that looks at even the most small, most minuscule details of the story. So looking at the story between Gargano and Ciampa were best friends, right? Best of friends, lived together, everything together. Ciampa felt slighted because the crowd loved Gargano more than him. Gargano beat him in the Cruiserweight Classic, but most importantly, Gargano was ready to move on without him when he got hurt. He didn't want to get left behind.
Yeah.
So there's an air of resentment. He wants to take everything away from Gargano to make him feel like he felt. So would it be perfect if Gargano won the title, finally reached the apex, and Ciampa just took it away from him?
Well, I like that kind of thing because I like the heels. No different than
Zayn and Owens. Owens was happy to see Zayn win so he could beat his ass. Now, in the same vein, I wouldn't be shocked if Ciampa came in and caused Gargano to lose, and they have their match. But Ciampa's smarter than that to know, I want the title.
Yeah. I was thinking about that myself. Like in my head, I was like, Ciampa's got to. We think he's going to show up, Philly. But it's not going to be to cost.
Again, we're talking about a roster of on this show. Ono is a Ring of Honor former wrestler. Yeah. Cole is Bobby Fish, Kyle O'Reilly, and now Gargano and Ciampa. Like, Philly's gonna lose their mind when they see Ciampa come out.
Yeah. Just to go on your prediction, you're predicting Gargano, whatever. I'm picking the same. I always I like Andrade, but I did also kind of think he was a transitional type of champion.
Not that there's anything wrong with that. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
But to be honest, no, there's not. There's not. So, I feel like all roads here are leading to that match. And Tommaso Ciampa.
Let me play devil's advocate. So. Let's say Cien Almas wins, right? Going into, I know Brooklyn is NXT's biggest show, but Takeover, WrestleMania, whatever it is, New Orleans, Orlando, whatever it is the biggest package because it's packaged in front of the biggest show of the year, right? So if Cien goes into that show, who is going to be his challenger?
Yeah,
right.
There really
I mean, I guess you could put him against Aleister Black, and that would.
Aleister Black, that would be the other one. That'd be the only other option, else. Right? I mean,
and not to say that they couldn't make a good feud of it, but would that be a bigger box office draw than Gargano and Ciampa? Yeah. So it depends on. True. Those will probably be the two matches we see at Takeover New Orleans. It just depends on who they want to sell the building. Who do they want to sell the house? Gargano and Ciampa or Almas Black?
I guess we're going to find out tonight. We will get that first piece of the puzzle solved.
We tried to get through that pretty quick, yeah.
That pretty much, yeah. Yeah, it was we spent about 25 minutes on it, so that's almost 30, actually. So that's pretty good. That's 30 minutes of NXT TakeOver, right, guys? You can't be mad about that. So let's spend a little bit more time here on what everybody's really here for. Royal Rumble is this Sunday. WWE Royal Rumble. And not just one Royal Rumble. We're getting
Have you seen the hashtag? I love the hashtag, by the way. Hashtag Rumble for all.
I haven't.
I understand a lot of y'all hate the marketing side of WWE, but that's a great hashtag.
Sure. Yeah, that's fine. I like it. Yeah. But before we get into the good stuff, we got to real quick go through the pre-show card. And we'll be real fast, I promise. We'll be a lot faster than we were on TakeOver because we will. And we can even we'll do the pre-show prediction, whatever the hell it is, first. Before, we'll just get that all done. And then we can move on just straight to the Royal Rumble. So let's just start. One of the first pre-show matches is Kalisto, Lince Dorado,
and Lucha Booties.
Metalik versus TJ. Yeah, the Lucha Booties, as Rance likes to call them, versus TJP, Jack Gallagher, and the great Drew Gulak. So, Rance, what you got?
The faces always win in a 6-man tag for the Cruiserweight division on a pre-show. I don't think the heels have won yet.
Yeah.
And Drew Gulak is a putting over machine. Drew Gulak does never win. Never. Yeah, so the Lucha Booty's gonna win. Plus, the Lucha Booty's got this real cute little pose they do. They really have you seen it? It's cute.
Yeah.
So they're gonna do that.
Yes, I have. Yeah, I have. I'll take the faces as well. I just want to point out real quick. I don't watch a lot of 205 Live either. I try to watch some clips here and there. If you haven't had a chance to watch Grand Metalik, especially, you need to watch him. I know he's been a little bit more prominent lately on 205 Live. I know he's been on there a little bit more in recent weeks. If you haven't seen him, you should watch him. He's really, really, really good. We've seen a lot of these other guys over time. We know how good most of these guys are. Him and Lindsay Dorado as well they're both good. Grand Metalik, whatever, is a lot better to me. So just, if you're watching the pre-show, keep an eye out for him. Let's move on here. Rematch from Monday. The Revival versus Balor Club. I'm assuming Balor Club is just going to be Gallows and Anderson.
They have Finn wrestling in this match. I will be shocked.
Yeah, exactly. So Dash Wilder, Scott Dawson looking to get a little revenge here from Monday after they got beat down by 9 different people.
Please don't start that again.
Don't forget that.
We've moved past.
I won't. So this is just a quick rematch. What do you think about this one?
Revival's a better team. The Revival is a much better team. This is a much bigger. Well, regardless of what you think, this is a much bigger platform. I understand Raw 25 is Raw 25, but the Revival will win, get their heat back, even though the fans might not think that. This is a much better situation for them because the Revival are tacticians. So there's not all this extra shit around with Triple H and DX no. This is just 2-on-2. I think the Revival win. Plus, Balor Club never wins. Gallows and Anderson never win by themselves. So yeah, the Revival.
Yeah. I'll take the Revival too. I think they got to get their heat back here. And if they don't win, I'm going to be real surprised. I'm going to laugh, but I'm going to be real surprised. But I do think they'll get their heat back here. Even though it's pre-show and that that's a whole other topic where everyone's going to how it is. Everyone's going to
say pre-show now, but they'll be in a tag team title match by April. So yeah.
Right. And moving on, one last one. The Bobby Roode Glorious U.S. Open Challenge. Bobby Roode's putting his U.S. title on the line against, I guess, just like similar open challenges, whoever wants to.
Okay, so we both know that Bobby Roode's not going to lose. So the question here is, who do we think is going to be the challenger?
Well, who can actually put on a good match with Bobby Roode?
I should drive to Arkansas.
Is that possible?
Shit out your mouth.
Go ahead. I'm going to hear your guess first. I mean, you could think Dolph Ziggler, right? No. That could be someone.
There's no chance.
But I don't think it will be
that they bring Ziggler back after the storyline they put him in on the pre-show. There's no chance.
Right.
Ty Dillinger.
So who are you thinking?
Yeah.
Ty Dillinger. Okay. I honestly don't have a damn clue, to be honest with you. So somebody from SmackDown, you could pretty much pick anybody. Let's just say Mojo Rawley. I don't know.
So you want to hear how I would book it if it was me, though? I would have Jinder come out.
Sure, go ahead.
And I would have Jinder win the match.
That's another person I thought about.
That way, because I'm old school, so I feel like a heel champion is better built. A babyface, unless you have a completely over babyface who is dominant and is compelling as a champion, which a lot of them aren't. I think it's a better situation to have a heel and a babyface chasing.
Right. Well, especially when you're 2 singles titles on the blue brand. Yeah. You got AJ Styles, who's over, and he falls into that. He falls in that line. And then now you also got
of baby faces who are compelling as champion.
And not to mention, you also have a face women's champion.
Falls in line with the compelling face champion.
Exactly. And you got the other singles champion is Bobby Roode.
And all your singles Usos are face. So and the Usos are face. Who fall in line as compelling champions as faces. So, Bobby's the only one who's not a compelling champion as a face. He's a compelling champion as a heel.
Yeah. So we're all on the Jinder train, right?
I'm hoping for Jinder. I see it being Ty, but I'm hoping for Jinder.
Okay. Well, I'm just gonna pick Mojo Rawley because he is a heel. I'm not saying he's a compelling character necessarily. He's a little bit more compelling. Exactly. So I'll say Mojo Rawley. I still think Bobby Roode's going to win.
Bobby Roode's going to win. That's what I said was what I hope. Bobby Roode's not losing this match. I just don't see it.
Yeah.
It'd be hilarious.
Be funny though. And I'm down.
And
I'm not a huge
I'm
Bobby
a big
Roode
proponent
fan.
of things happening in the pre-show to make you watch. People don't understand. A lot of people think, well, the pre-show's bullshit, this, that, and the other. Okay, to an extent, yeah. If they don't get royalties for the main show, yeah, it's some BS. But the point of the pre-show is to let people who don't subscribe to the network or don't like, stealing by getting streams to watch the shows, because the pre-show shows on every medium. YouTube, Facebook, all of this. So everybody can watch it. No different than the free-for-all shows at 6:30 before pay-per-views back in the day in like 99 and 2000, where they gave you the rundown of the matches to make you say, man, I need to buy this. It's the same thing. The difference is all of us in our circle already have the network, so it seems superfluous. But to the people out the people out there who watch wrestling but don't have the network and this and that and the other, hey, I know Bobby Roode. Let me watch this match. Yeah, I might buy it.
Yeah,
if they get 100 subscriptions, hell, if they whatever, it's still money in their pocket. And the live crowd gets love.
Okay.
But yeah, I just want to point that out. Sorry.
No, you're fine. So that's the pre-show in a nutshell. It's time to move on to the main card here. So we'll just start. I've got the card in front of me. We'll go from bottom up. Rance, do you want to predict the matches as we go on this? Okay. So we'll just start with the SmackDown Tag Team Championship match. 2 out of 3 falls. The Usos, current champs, versus Chad Gable, Shelton Benjamin. What are you thinking about this?
2 out of 3 falls steps are very weird because normally I would say that they would that step would kind of cater to the heel because they can cheat, right? But I think this step caters to the faces for 2 reasons. First and foremost, Gable and Benjamin have kind of gotten over on the Usos since they got out of the New Day feud, right? Gable beat Jey Uso on SmackDown last week or week before last, whatever. And a couple weeks before that, they actually beat the Usos by cheating, but to win the titles until it was restarted. But the Usos are the best tag team act in wrestling. I've realized most people say the Young Bucks, and I would say the Young Bucks are 1B, but I think the way the Usos have completely reinvented themselves and stepped their game up consistently puts them over them right now. And it's conventional. It's all common knowledge that we all know. The Usos have never wrestled a match on the main card of WrestleMania, and they are fired up more than ever. And they have said, if y'all do this to us one more time, we're going to ruin the show. We're going to put a match on the pre-show so wonderful that nobody's going to care about the main card. So I think the Usos are going to walk into WrestleMania as well-deserved SmackDown Tag Team Champions. So that would cause them to win here.
Okay. So my thoughts on this, it's a little twofold. WWE has had in the last few months, we've had some issues with guys getting in trouble. Some bigger, some smaller. Jey Uso it's a big deal. It's a smaller issue. He got a DUI in Hidalgo. We know that. And sometimes WWE likes to punish people. However, I don't think that's going to happen here. I just wanted to point that out because if the Usos were to lose this match, I feel like that plays a part into it. Okay. But I don't think it's going to happen here. I agree with Rance completely. The Usos need to walk into WrestleMania as the tag team champions. They're the best tag team in the company. They have reinvented themselves completely. They deserve it. The fact that they haven't been on the main card of WrestleMania ever
pretty crazy
that's just
but also tag team wrestling hadn't been put at a premium in a long time.
Right. Sure. So, yeah, they've got to win. Gable and Benjamin are a great team, and we may see Gable and Benjamin on that same card. And it may be, involved with the Usos again. Who knows? But I do think, all things considered here, I think the Usos need to win. I don't think the DUI is going to play a factor in the result of this match. But I could see it. I could see it happening once again. But yeah, I'm in the same boat with you, man. The Usos they got to walk into Mania as tag champ. So I'm gonna take the Usos.
And plus, I just love the Usos. Everything about my love. And Gable and Benjamin. I'm sorry, I replaced one black guy with another. They're both replaceable. I'm joking. American Alpha 2, as they're affectionately known. Yeah, they don't need the titles. You know, they don't need them, and I don't think they would do well as champs anyway because while they're great in the ring, they're not compelling, and they're trying their best. I give them all the credit in the world. They're trying so hard to garner a character to get over with fans, and they're doing well as heel acts to an extent. But I just don't think they would do as good as champs as the Usos would.
Yeah, couldn't have said it better myself. Let's keep the ball rolling here. On the other side, you got the Raw Tag Team Championships up for grabs as well. Current champions Seth Rollins and Jason Jordan are taking on Sheamus and Cesaro, the Bar. So, Rance, what's your
well? Have you heard the rumor for what Rollins might be doing at WrestleMania? So
I have, yeah.
I'm notorious for not believing rumors. I'm notorious for that. I don't believe that Roman's going to win the Rumble. Spoiler alert. I don't believe that. There's a bunch of things I don't believe. But if we're going to go under the pretenses that Rollins, the rumor is true, and Rollins and Jordan are going to wrestle each other at WrestleMania, then they have to split at some point. There's no better place than here. To give actual real context to why I think the Bar is going to win, because I think the Bar is going to win, is because the whole point of Jordan and Rollins coming together was kind of a Band-Aid for Rollins and Ambrose, with Ambrose getting hurt. And they have fought each other at every point. But this is the one thing that I want to just the way I'm thinking. First and foremost, if I'm so sick of the Shield versus the Bar, just please be done. Like, they've wrestled enough, right? And the confluence of those guys,
right?
But if the Bar loses, what do they do?
Yeah, I mean, I can see that they've done it. I mean, there are. I mean, they could get in there with a revival.
No, that's because WWE doesn't do heel versus heel often.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's hard to say. The tag team division is a little interesting over there right now. They've got teams, but the teams all feel a little awkward. Even like Balor Club, I guess they're faces. They're more like tweeners to me.
Yeah.
I mean, and so it's kind of like same thing with Revival. Well, Revival are heels, and then Sheamus and Cesaro are heels. Who else is in that tag team division? You know what I mean? Besides Jason Jordan and Seth Rollins,
you said right Balor Club, Titus Worldwide, who's got some wins, Slater and Rhino, who are irrelevant. And then Jeff Hardy might be healthy soon.
That's true. But I wonder how and how they'll fit that in with Matt, and then as well the potential of AOP
or the tag team formerly known as War Machine.
That's true. Although I do think they're going to spend some time in
Triple NXT. H said on the conference call that he doesn't think that anybody they sign should not go through NXT for at least some point, only because the way they do TV is so drastically different than everybody else that it's a chance for them to learn. That aspect of nothing else. Like, we all know Finn didn't need NXT, and Shinsuke needed it because he needed to learn that language. But like, a lot of people don't know, Joe didn't need it. But to learn the way that they do their business is invaluable, and it's easier to do it on that scale than it is on Monday Night Raw or Tuesday Night SmackDown or the Royal Rumble per se. So,
yeah. So, is there anything else you wanted to add?
No, I'm done. I see the Bar winning, and again, just like the Usos, I think the Bar have had such a great year from WrestleMania to WrestleMania that they deserve to walk into WrestleMania as the tag team champions. Whether that show, I think both tag matches, the tag division has gotten so hot this year that I think they've both earned spots on the main card. Will they both get them? I don't know. But the two best tag teams in the company, without a doubt, have been the Usos and the Bar.
Agreed. So I'm going to go against conventional wisdom here. When I did a little prediction contest with some buddies, and the first match that we talked about the Usos versus Gable and Benjamin. I picked Gable and Benjamin, and I changed my mind on the podcast. I'm allowed to do that. I do whatever I want. However, on the Raw Tag Team Championship match, I picked Rollins and Jordan instead of the Bar, and I'm going to stick with that one. I get the idea that whether they're going to, if they're going to do the Rollins Jordan deal, right? They're going to do that. And that's the rumor match for WrestleMania or whatever. That's fine. I'm cool with that. I don't think they necessarily have to lose the titles at the Rumble to make that match work because there's a lot of time in between. And you make a good point. This is a perfect time.
They could do the normal match.
Right. They could do it. They could do it on Raw on Monday. I mean, they could do it at the next Raw pay-per-view, which is probably Elimination Chamber.
Fastlane. I don't remember who has what, but yeah, one of the two.
Right. So there's ways they can do this and still build it up, So I'm not, in terms of getting to that match, it doesn't have to be this weekend. You know what I mean? So I think they can drag it out a little bit longer, and I think they will. I do believe that Rollins and Jordan will split. I do believe that they're going to lose the tag titles in some kind of shenanigan-y way, right? And I don't know to who. I don't know when. But I don't think it's going to be Sunday. I just think we're going to get a good old tag team match with, maybe a tease at some problems with Rollins and Jordan. They've done it over time, like last week in the Peep Show segment, so those kind of things. But I don't think it'll be this weekend. I think we're going to get another retained title.
They do have more they can tell as champs. I just don't know what the Bar would do. So yeah.
Right. So
let's move on.
Moving on. Let's go right into the WWE Championship handicap match. If you've been following SmackDown, you know that AJ Styles, he's the current champ, and he opened his mouth and got himself in a handicap match between Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, or Cammy, as he likes to call him. Pretty bad. Terrible. Yeah, it's pretty bad. And if Owens and Sami win, they'll be the first ever co-WWE champion. So that's kind of interesting, right? So let's talk about it, Rance. What are your thoughts on how this story's progressed?
Well, if I'm honest, I think that the face that runs the place has been pretty stupid in this feud. Pretty dumb. And they've highlighted how stupid he's been. Because Owens and Zayn are great. Amazing. Sami Zayn deserves a commendation for how great of a heel. He is the most annoying asshole I've seen in a long time on television. Like, purposefully. Not because he's not trying to be, but like purposefully. Him and Jason Jordan is just great at like pissing people off. But they have been great together as a tandem at literally taking advantage of every little thing they could take advantage of. They've taken advantage of, and what they're supposed to do. But it's been great.
Yeah.
Although I'm not calling AJ stupid because he's still the best in the business. But this has allowed AJ to show a different side of his personality. He's showing more of the side of his personality when he was facing John Cena. He's a little more vicious now because they've pissed him off. AJ's the best in the world, right? So AJ could wrestle. AJ could wrestle a broomstick to a 3.5-star match. Word to Karl's broomstick column. But it's different when you piss somebody off. So if you're great, you do what you do great all the time. But when somebody pisses you off, it's a different mindset you go into that match. And to prove that point, look at this past week's SmackDown. AJ was stupid again and put himself in a situation where he had to wrestle Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn in the same night, back to back. He tapped out Owens very quickly with a calf crusher, and behind the scenes, that's because Owens is a bit injured. He's a bit banged up. He has a back injury. He'll be ready for it tomorrow, but save him the wear and tear. And then he wrestled Sami straight after, but Owens, being the ham that he is, laid at ringside the entirety of the 20-minute match. There's a stretcher. They're trying to put him on the stretcher, and he's screaming, holding his ankle, holding his leg. And every chance AJ got, he ran outside and would beat up Kevin Owens. And it really looked like, if you didn't watch didn't watch wrestling and just turned it on, AJ's the bad guy and Owens is the babyface. Because AJ is so done with Owens and Sammy. So, I just, as he should be.
As he should be. As he should
shout
be.
out to Social Suplex, the actual website. We, sans Karl, because Karl isn't in our Facebook group. The majority of us did a predictions column. And in my predictions column, I kind of wrote down the story that this has been a year in the making. We can go back to AJ versus Shane starting in January, going to WrestleMania. And that's where all of this started, because AJ and Shane had a vicious feud because AJ felt like he was being mistreated and taken advantage of by Shane. Right? That's where Shane's Shades of Grey started. And then after that match, they garnered respect for each other, right? Which led to AJ versus Owens for the United States title, which involved Shane because Owens felt like Shane was taking advantage of him, which led to Owens versus Shane, which led to Sammy turning on Shane and siding again with his former best friend Owens because he felt like Shane was being unfair to him, which led to this.
So there's a common denominator here, and I think we know who it is.
So this is the culmination of a 9-month storyline. People say there's no longer-term booking. This is longer-term booking. They might not have planned for it to be, but it is. So AJ's had to deal with this for months. I know he's sick of it. I love the dynamic. It'd have been more fun to me if it was a tornado 2-on-1 handicap match, but it is standard tag. So of course Sammy's gonna get most of the work, so Owens doesn't really have to do much. And Sammy beat AJ clean. Well, as clean as you could be after a dude wrestled another dude before, and you jumped him after that match. But nonetheless, he pinned him. Haluva kick into the Blue Thunder Bomb. Big win for Sammy. But yeah, AJ's gonna win. He's the best in the business, and he's gonna find a way to win. And it's probably gonna be because something Daniel or Shane does.
Yeah. So first of all, I just want to say that the idea of a co-champion, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, is so intriguing to me.
Layla and Michelle Bethune did it with the Divas Championship back in the day, and it was gold. They had to have the title and everything.
Yeah.
It was gold.
I do remember that, and I will tell you that, especially considering how good Owens and Sami are, not even just as wrestlers, just as characters in their current format. I mean, there's some interesting stuff that you could do there. If you wanted to, eventually break them up and have that match for the title at WrestleMania, you could do that, and it would be awesome. So there's some things there you could do. Even though they've wrestled a million times, they're going to put on a great match. And could you imagine Owens and Sami, knowing what we know about them as friends, having the opportunity to go for the WWE title at WrestleMania would be awesome, right? So there's stuff you can do there. There's a lot of fun that can be had. But I'm going to go ahead and say once again here, AJ is going to win somehow. And as Rance put it, Shane and Daniel Bryan have been heavily involved and in this whole thing. And if you think about it, in a standard handicap match, AJ being as good as he is should not beat Owens and
Nobody
Zayn.
should win any standard handicap match. No.
Not right. So with that being said, they can't just have the standard handicap match. Someone's got to get involved. And they've spent too much time with Shane and Daniel being so big of a part of this that something's going to happen. I don't know what. I really don't have a clue. And I'm sure it's going to be as interesting as it can be. But once again, I feel like AJ, this will be his third WrestleMania that he's coming up into. If you remember, he opened last year against Shane, and he didn't open against Jericho, but it was one of the first 3 or 4 matches.
But hold on. People get so wrapped up in the match position. Only fans care about that shit.
Right.
No,
I'm not getting wrapped up in that. What I'm saying is, all I'm saying is, AJ, once again, it's the same situation. He's been so good ever since he got here that he has earned an opportunity to, one, walk into WrestleMania as the WWE champion, in my opinion. So, what I'm getting at basically is, AJ has been so good since he started, since he got here. And for me personally, I feel like same thing with the Usos kind of deal. He's earned the right to walk into WrestleMania as WWE champ. And I think that's what's going to happen. And I think it'll be a little bit higher placement on the card. And I don't get caught up in those kind of things, but I do think, for AJ and I think it'll please a lot of people. It's not going to be the main. He's not going to be going on last. I don't believe that's going to happen. There's this one guy named Brock Lesnar. So
yeah,
there's a chance, but we'll see. So that being said, I think AJ is going to win somehow. Don't know how yet. Obviously, that's why we watch. So that's about really all I have on this match.
Well, hold on.
There's one more.
Before you move on, hold on.
Title match.
I want to kind of put a bow on the AJ WrestleMania thing. There's not a lot of people. There are a bunch of people in the history of the WWE who are great wrestlers who have never had singles matches on WrestleMania. Dolph Ziggler being one, right? AJ got two back to back.
Yeah.
And maybe the AJ Chris Jericho feud wasn't marquee, but AJ versus Shane was the third biggest match on the card. It only started the show because that's where it could get the most time. You know what I'm saying? So this conversation about match placement is hilarious to me because people say, well, if you're not the last match on, and some of the wrestlers admittedly believe this too, Randy Orton being one of them, CM Punk notoriously being the most of it, believe that if you're not the last match on the card, you're not the main event. But we went to WrestleMania 32, right? Both of us did. I don't remember seeing only one match on the side of the building. They had four. So a main event in this day and age is the main is one of the marquee matches that are promoted, right? AJ versus Shane was promoted on SmackDown more than Randy Orton versus Bray for the title was. So we need to get away from that. Yeah. And then I believe that in this day and age where we have social media, we have the internet, and the WWE is trying to change their business model, the main event isn't what necessarily draws the house anymore, right? In terms of who's the last match. Right? WWE kind of draws the house to an extent, and then you see a guy you like, you might be more inclined. But I think the most important match on the card is the first match, because if the first match is shit, then you don't care about the show no more. So, right? Or at least your expectations are tempered. So AJ versus Shane being the first match, being a 4-star match, being a great match, set that card up perfectly. So I want to throw that out there because I know so many fans are on the other side of that. And I want you to my whole thing for fans is I just want y'all to think unbiasedly at some point. I'm not saying you can't, right? I'm not saying you can't be biased.
Good luck with that.
I'm just saying at some point step back and say, well, I still hate that, but I get it.
Yeah. You're asking a lot, but that's okay. That's okay. We love you anyway. But yeah, we love the fans anyway. We love you too, kind of. So let's go ahead and move on to the last title match before we get into the Rumble matches. WWE Universal Championship Triple Threat match. Brock Lesnar, current champ, versus Braun Strowman versus Kane. Just some background here. Braun Strowman has essentially just beaten the shit out of anything, inanimate object or whatever. That's basically all he's done for the last little while. So, and it happened again on Monday at the Raw 25. Lesnar got a shot in on him, and he got an F5 in on Kane, I believe it was. But into the night, Braun still stood tall, and usually, a lot of times, that indicates to me that Braun probably won't win this Sunday. But that's neither here nor there. We'll talk about it. There's this match. Really, it kind of feels like I feel like your prediction on this match has a lot to do with where you think they're going for WrestleMania. If you think they're going that Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns route, which has been rumored forever, then you think Brock is going to win this match. If you think they're going a different route, whatever route that may be, you got to think Braun is going to win. If you think that, if you think Vince McMahon is donating money to the Knox County mayoral campaign or whatever, then you think that Kane is going to win. So there's a lot going on here. Kane fits in weirdly to obviously like it's
He's
kind
there to
of
take the pin, bro. We all know that.
you know
He knows it.
yeah he's eating yeah so you know whatever I guess, but this match is obviously it's mostly about Brock and Braun and where you think they're going. Me personally, my personal thoughts on this. I do think Brock Lesnar is going to walk into WrestleMania as the WWE champion. I think, or the Universal champion rather. I think even still to this day, as much as we all just, not all of us, but me in particular, I've been not down on Lesnar as much as I've just been kind of over Brock Lesnar. Mostly, and the most of that is because, and I understand the reasonings, you know, he doesn't need to be there all the time, stuff like that. I get that. I have no issues with that. But for me, it's just Brock he doesn't do much for me anymore because his matches, he had a good match, an enjoyable match with Goldberg, singles match, okay, with Goldberg at WrestleMania because it was a train wreck, okay. He had a pretty really good match, I thought, with Samoa Joe, but the Braun Strowman match was bad, in my opinion. And then, I mean, any kind of Fatal 4-Way or whatever, the Fatal 4-Way at SummerSlam, I believe it was good. But I don't think that was because of him. So for me, when it comes to Brock Lesnar, I'm just, as a singles match guy, I don't love him that much because of his style now. Back in the day, young Brock Lesnar, whatever, right? I love Brock and he was great. And he's still great, but he feels like he's got to have extra motivation to be really what he's capable of being. And that bothers me a little bit. And Paul Heyman, of course, is golden. You know, he helps without Paul Heyman, Brock Lesnar probably wouldn't be that great to me just because he can't talk. Yeah. He can, but he never does. So, as far as this is concerned, I think, you know, I feel like if this is hard for me, like, because Braun to me probably should have already been the Universal Champion. I definitely think he should be now. To me, Braun he's over, obviously. And the shit he does is just so, like, insane, you know, by today's WWE television standards that it's just, he's so larger than life. Like, I don't know how many more stunts you can pull before people are like, okay, we get it. Braun Strowman is strong. And you know what I mean?
Yeah. But like, how many more vehicles can Stone Cold drive?
At some point, right, that's true. But at some point, you know, strike on this. And I feel like this is the opportunity to really do it, but I don't think they're going to. I think Brock Lesnar is going to walk out as the champ again because unfortunately, and not unfortunately, because I'm fine with Roman and Brock, but I know you don't think that's where they're going. I do think it's where they're going. So I'm going to say, just throw a prediction out there. I've already said my piece. I think Brock is going to win the match, and I would like to hear your thoughts on this.
So this is the point of the podcast where you could say, well, there goes Crazy Rance and his tinfoil predictions. I think Braun Strowman's winning the match. I'm going to lay out why.
Okay.
I think most of them hope so because
go ahead.
I'm not against Brock, and I'm not down on Brock as much as most people are because even if it's, again, the in-ring portion of the wrestling product is the least most important to me. And again, it's not saying it's not important because it's very important. It's just of all the characteristics, it's the least because you can train somebody to do 6 moves like Hulk Hogan and the rest of the package will be great.
Right.
And Hulk's wrestled great matches with 6 moves. So, you know, for people that's going to kill me on that statement. Yes.
Yes, they are.
I want to lay out a few facts real quick before I go on any further. Braun Strowman right now is the most organically over star in the company right now, especially on Raw, right? Organically over. Not manufactured, not pushed, but organically over. Braun has never lost to anyone singles-wise twice. Go back and look. That hasn't happened. In every situation, except for the match in No Mercy, Braun has dominated Brock. In every situation. Even in the Fatal
Correct.
4-Way, the reason Brock got stretched out is because Braun threw him through 2 tables and flipped the third one on top of him, or 1 table and flipped it, whatever it was. Okay. And also,
Yep.
Kane's in the match to take the pin, which if Kane gets pinned by Braun, Brock doesn't look bad. Just like when Roman got pinned by Seth, Brock didn't look bad, right? I think Braun Strowman is winning. For these reasons, on top of the fact that I think that Braun. So when you say that Braun should have been Universal Champion by now, I'm sure most fans would agree with you, and I'm not against that thought process, but I don't think Braun was ready. And when I say I don't think he was ready, I mean by this. Braun has become a really not only good wrestler, but compelling wrestler, right? Braun has not, at the point Braun wrestled Brock, Braun was not compelling one-on-one with everybody. Sammy carried him, Roman carried him. Yes, Roman Reigns carried Braun Strowman. So when you're the champ, especially a full-time champ, because Brock's part-time, when you have a full-time champ, you're expected to carry that belt a little differently, because you're going to have a match here and there against random person, random that, right? And Braun has expanded his game quicker than damn near maybe Roman did, because when Roman started, Roman was green and has become one of the best wrestlers in the world over the past year and a half. Also, Braun wasn't compelling as a character other than doing crazy shit, right? Now, he's still doing crazy shit, but that's not why he's compelling. Braun's compelling because he's a compelling character, right? The way he walks, the way he talks. He has a catchphrase now, get these hands. The way he interacts with people. Remember how he was interacting with Chris Jericho in the scarf. He has a very dry, sarcastic sense of humor. Like, he's become a well-rounded package. And we're so desperate sometimes to give the title to our favorites, or sometimes to strike while the iron is hot, yes. But losing to Brock may have been a setback. But he has only continued to elevate since then because the crowd is more organically behind him now, right? He can have a match against Curtis Axel, and the crowd's crazy. Slam him 7 times, please. He could have a match, right? He had a great match against Big Show, and Big Show is the man. But the crowd was very tired of him, and they were crazy about it. He had a match against Heath Slater, and they were crazy. Like he's in a much better position than he was in No Mercy was what, in July or August, September, something, whenever it was, right? September, maybe.
Yeah.
It's a much better situation than it was then. So, again, long-term storytelling, I think it would be a perfect story because mimicking the Roman Reigns storyline, Roman Reigns beat Braun in Fastlane before WrestleMania, right? Roman didn't beat Braun like he just dominated him.
Yeah.
Braun was destroying him, and then Braun got too big for his britches and tried to fly off the top rope. Roman moved and caught him. Every other match after that, and every other situation after that, except for tried to be murdered by him, Braun beat Roman. People forget Braun won that feud, not by he dominated him. 3 matches, Braun won 2. Okay, so
let me ask you this while we're on this, because obviously you're saying that you think Braun's going to win this match and become the Universal Champion, which I would assume means to you that Braun is going to be defending that title at WrestleMania. I would imagine you think he'll carry it into WrestleMania. So let me ask you this then. If that's the case, where do you think they would be going for a potential opponent to Braun Strowman for WrestleMania? And I know we're getting ahead of ourselves a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think about the thought process of saying, okay, we want Braun Strowman to be our champ. What do you think the plan would be? Because they've got to have something in place at this point, right? I mean, you would think.
Both of them I think fans would be fine with. 2 ways ago. One, what I would pick personally, Braun versus Brock rematch. The rubber match. Right?
Okay.
If you go by the story, Braun faced Brock. Braun dominated Brock. Brock being the veteran, caught him. F5, 1, 2, 3. They had the Fatal 4-Way, which I'm not counting as the second encounter, and Braun destroyed them. Right? They have their quote unquote second rematch, which I'm sure Braun will destroy Brock again, but I think Braun wins. But Braun will pin Kane.
You think Braun will pin Kane, right? So it gives Brock an opening to say, well, you still haven't pinned me.
Absolutely. You know? So that's what I think will go. What will be, which will leave Roman a chance to do whatever. Maybe Roman Cena again or Roman whatever, right? The second is Braun, Brock, Roman triple threat. Put everything into a nice little package.
Okay.
You get the quote unquote match that you've been trying to get this entire time, Roman versus Brock. You get that, but you throw in the hot component, and if you throw in the hot component as the champion, the fans will accept it a little better. Plus, you can build that match since Brock doesn't like to come to work every day with 2 full-time guys there every day. Right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it's interesting. I like the thought process there. You know, there's a lot here. You know, I think once again, this is the same. You know, we're going to get an idea here of WrestleMania. It feels like, you know, there's always those rumored WrestleMania plans that you see, and I think we're going to get an idea of where we're at with that. You know, come Sunday night when we start seeing.
Sure.
You know, and of course we always get that. You know, whoever wins, we get that. You know, so. But, you know, in fairness, when Randy Orton won the Rumble last year, we weren't 100% sure where they were going. And we heard, you know, that Bray Wyatt would win the title and then that would be the match. So there's, you know, there's a lot going on. So I think official prediction, you're taking Braun, I'm taking Brock. I think you feel comfortable having said everything you need to say for that. Are you ready to move on to
I'm
to
good.
Big stuff?
My question to you as a fan would be,
go ahead.
If you would you be, and not only as a fan but as a guy who has tickets to WrestleMania, we bought them already, right? I understand that a lot of me and you will be fine seeing Roman Brock because we're Roman fans and we trust Vince to build the story. But wouldn't Brock versus Braun or Brock versus Braun versus Roman be that much more enticing as the show closer? The 3 most dominant behemoths
I think
in the company against each other. It's going to be you thought Brock versus Goldberg in 5 minutes, which is the best 5-minute match I think I've ever seen. You think that was a train wreck? They're gonna destroy everything. Braun's gonna flip the ring over. Roman's gonna spear Braun or Brock through every single barricade, all 4 of them. Brock's gonna throw Roman off of the Titantron through it's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I think either one of those that you laid out, I think the triple threat would be fine. I mean, most people that know me and know how I feel about wrestling, there's 2 things I really, really love in wrestling. I love a really good heel, like I'm talking really good, like Miz level heel. Okay, I like guys like that, and I like beasts beating the shit out of each other. And I'm not saying slogging around the ring and, you know, that kind of thing. I'm saying just absolutely destroying each other. So those kinds of things, that's 2 things in wrestling that I really, really love, and I'll always love them. So both the Braun Brock rematch is enticing. I would love to see that. I think the triple threat is enticing. I would like to see that as well. So yeah, there's a lot there. And I think fans, man, I really like the thing about the Roman thing, and we're going to talk about it because we're going to be talking about the Royal Rumble, and he's in it. We know that. So I think the Roman thing is so polarizing for so many people that, you know, me personally, if they were to crown Roman again at WrestleMania, I'm not going to get upset. But I do think, you know, you can see where they're going. If it happens, I can see once again that anger. I do think it will continue. I don't know that it's the best situation to put him in from that perspective, even though he's fine, you know, to me. So let's talk about that. Should we just jump right into the men's Royal Rumble and finish with the women?
I think it would be very fitting if we save the women for last, seeing as this is the big moment for them. So let's go on straight to the men, personally, yeah.
Okay. All right. That sounds great. I like it. So we've got a 30-man Royal Rumble. We know how this works, fellas. Superstars come in every 90 seconds, 2 minutes, however they do it. Basically, they just do it whenever they want to. So it's 90 seconds, and that's me doing air quotes. And this year's kind of different because they didn't go, a lot of times they do the whole, we know who's coming in at number 1, right? They do stuff like that where they try, we don't know. They didn't really do a whole lot with that.
They haven't, and we don't even know a third of the field. Like, we might know 20 people.
Yeah. We don't know who all is really in this, which kind of, to me, leads me to believe that the herd is thinned a little bit on who can win this thing, or it leads me to believe that a surprise entrant could win this thing. And by surprise entrant, I don't mean like Hulk Hogan comes back to WWE and wins the Royal Rumble. I mean someone on the roster who maybe hasn't really been discussed, hasn't been around,
Dolph Ziggler,
things like that. And we can a Dolph Ziggler type. There's also if you read, like you said, if you read the betting odds, even Daniel Bryan, which I don't think is going to happen, by the way. I think it would be a fucking disaster, and we can get into that. But so I'm curious, your opinion, your thoughts on where you think they're going here. There hasn't been a ton of crazy build for this, and so and I'd like to hear your thoughts on that as well, and I'd like to just kind of see where you're thinking they're going here, and then we can move on.
I like the ambiguity of this match because twofold. One, it's been met with so much disdain over the past few years, right? We as fans have the propensity to build things up in our head and be disappointed when we don't get what we built up. Right. For example, Ronda Rousey has never once been linked to the Royal Rumble at all in WWE. We did that, and if she don't show up, we'll be disappointed. That's our fault. So I appreciate them having the ambiguity to say, you know what, believe what you want. Every time we try to show you what we want, y'all get mad. So believe what you want. I can appreciate that. And number two, it lends itself to you not having a favorite. Right? The only reason Roman's the favorite is because we've been convinced that it's going to be Roman versus Brock. If we had never heard that rumor, there would be no favorite. We would legitimately not have any idea. But that's why. So I appreciate that. Now, this is one of the more rare times where I can't remember that I can't remember, and this is, again, I realize that I don't believe the rumor, but that we don't have a definitive favorite, right? So with that being said, moving on to the match, I think there are 5 guys who could possibly win it. I think Roman is one.
Okay.
I think Dolph is one. That's the dark horse. I think that Miz possibly. Again, he won't, but he could be there. And I think Finn. I think us as a fan base are massively underselling the fact that DX and Triple H in general put over Finn so hard at Raw 25. We're massively underselling it. And then normally, and again, WWE logic, right? I've been watching since I was 6 years old. The logic is, in a beatdown, the person who gets the last move on the beatdown is normally the most over guy, right? That's why Hall did, the most important guy, maybe. Hall did the toothpick. X-Pac hit him with the X Factor. Dog hit him with the shake, rattle, and roll, and Billy Gunn hit him with the Famouser. Shawn hit him with the super kick, and then Triple H hit him with the pedigree. But that wasn't it. Who was the last person?
Yeah.
So I'm just saying,
Finn Balor.
We're really massively understating what that meant, I think. And then there's Shinsuke. Now there's no chance in hell Cena or Orton win this match, in my opinion. But they have to be noted because they're Cena and they're Orton, right? But those are my 5. I would eliminate Miz only because Miz. it's unfair to him being as how valuable he is to the company. I think you're gonna think I'm really, really crazy. Not you, because you're a Miz fan, but fans, you're gonna think I'm really, really crazy. If you were to take away all full-time wrestlers, and I'm counting Cena as a full-time guy, right? I think in the company's mind, not in terms of wrestling, not in terms of in-ring ability or who they want to, no, just in the company's mind, total package, business, media, this and that, Miz is the second most important person in the company behind Roman. Because Miz is the first person they send to do media. Miz is the first person they send. Miz did the USO tour. Miz is the first person they send to do a movie. Miz is the first person they send to get a spinoff of a TV show. Miz is the first person for everything. On top of the fact that Miz has a talking segment every Raw. Miz is the Intercontinental Champion and is always around the time. If you have a guy who's obscure, you give him the Miz, Alex Riley, Damian Sandow, Curtis Axel, Bo Dallas. Miz is the second most important person in the company in a full-time position behind Roman Reigns. Call me crazy, but because he's the second most important person, I don't think they'll ever give him the number one guy because, just like Sammy said, how he thinks they feel about him, he's so perfect in his role. You don't want to put him somewhere else. Which is why I don't think he'll.
Okay.
Yes. I think it'd be perfect if Dolph came back to win, seeing as he went away, gave up the U.S. title, kind of put Naito, and then comes back. If they mimicked everything Naito did with Dolph, I think it'd be great. They won't do it. And I think there is a fatigue, a Dolph Ziggler fatigue among fans, and not anything he's done good or bad. I think that they're tired of him not. For my New Japan fans, he's Hiroki Goto. Like, he's been so close, and so close, and so close, but never got over that. I don't think people believe he'll ever do it again, even if he had the opportunity. When he went against Ambrose at WrestleMania at SummerSlam, right? Nobody believes he will win. Not because he can't. I think he's a better wrestler than Ambrose, but because it's Dolph. So that eliminates him. Okay? So we're left with Roman, we're left with Finn, we're left with Shinsuke. Right? I think...
Yeah.
I'm going by what I think, not what the whatchamacallits think, right? What I think. Not what Meltzer or the rumors have said, but what I think. I think Finn is going to go after Miz. Okay. I think it could be really compelling with Miz tearing Finn a new one, and Miz has his Miztourage, Finn has the Balor Club. Miz having to face the Demon could be good television with Miz being scared of the Demon, and so on. And it gives Miz and Finn a marquee match for the IC title, which is important. Okay, and I personally have no interest in seeing Finn versus Braun or Brock. I don't. AJ is so the anomaly in so many situations because even though he's a smaller guy, he's thick and he's just something about it. He's Shawn Michaels. It's so like Shawn. Like, I didn't want to see any other big guy wrestle and big guy wrestle small guys, but Shawn wrestling big guys was always different because there's something about Shawn that makes him believable. Right? Nothing about Finn, even if it's the Demon, facing either of those two guys makes it believable to me. So let's eliminate Finn.
Right.
I've already told you I don't think Roman's winning the Rumble. I think, as big of a Roman fan as I am, and I'm probably number 2 on the favorite list behind Andre, shout out to Andre, because Andre is like carrying the Roman flag. Like, Andre got the Roman Reigns tattoo on his back. Not literally, but you know what I'm saying? But I'm probably number 2. If Roman Reigns wins the Royal Rumble in Philadelphia, WWE has legitimately just said fuck the fans. And they are just trolling at this point. Literally, they're just absolutely trolling at this point. Right. And WWE isn't as tone deaf as we all think they are. I don't think. Which leads me to Shinsuke. Now, I've been up and down on Shinsuke in the WWE. for you New Japan guys, for you indie guys, I love the dude. But Shinsuke has shown that he has a lot of Randy Orton in him. It's funny that him and Randy are kind of beefing right now because Shinsuke don't care week to week. You can see it, right? He's not motivated week to week. You can see it. You from a guy who's watched Shinsuke's best stuff and his normal stuff every Tuesday. He's not giving his all. You can see it. And Shinsuke at 75% is better than most people at 100. So that's no diss, but I think this is smart enough to realize that I got to give those hardcore something. Whether y'all wanted to believe it or not, last year, AJ versus Shane was really fun. You watched the match, right? Kevin Owens versus Chris Jericho was for the hardcores. So if whatever matches you're going to have is going to be your marquee for the casuals, you got to have something for the hardcores. And Vince is an entertainment guy, but Vince still likes wrestling. AJ versus Shinsuke is something that will.
Sure.
We know in ring they have great chemistry because they wrestled a 5-star match at Wrestle Kingdom a couple years ago. But that's the one guy that AJ hasn't wrestled in the main roster on SmackDown, right? He's fought Kevin Owens, he's fought Sami Zayn, he's fought Baron Corbin, he's fought Randy Orton. He's fought John Cena, Dean Ambrose. Yes.
It has been teased as well that Shinsuke and AJ would meet at Money in the Bank last year.
Absolutely.
They had their little tease or whatever. So
I think Shinsuke Nakamura is winning the Rumble and is going to get his big moment. The fans will finally get to leave a Rumble happy. That's my prediction. And I also say that because if I'm remembering correctly, Raw has the Elimination Chamber. So why would Raw have a winner and they got the Elimination Chamber?
They do.
That's perfect. And Brock doesn't show up to work.
Right. It seems like that's
right. I might feel differently if Brock shows up to work on a regular basis, but he doesn't. So might as well do it for the number one contendership. But Shinsuke versus AJ is huge for every situation, every way. And Vince being a magnate, a media magnate, a mogul, and all of these nice little words I can throw out at him, with Shinsuke main event in WrestleMania, do you know what Japan and Asia is going to do? Right? The media that because again, Japan treats wrestling as a real sport. So, I mean, New Japan Wrestling is known as the king of sports, not the king of wrestling or the king of entertainment, the king of sports. So, yeah, I think and remember, AJ is known as the Japanese Sun, wrestled there 1 year, or 2 years, however long it was. But he's known as Japanese guy, right? So there's too many positives for it to not be Shinsuke, in my opinion. I know I've talked a long time. I apologize, but I had to break it down.
No, you're fine. So here's I'm going to lay out a few guys that I think could win it. I usually, a lot of times when you do predictions and stuff, you predict a final four, like who's going to be the last four in the rings. That's always like a thing, the four corners of the ring. I'm going to give you maybe more than four guys that I think could potentially win it. Some will make more sense than others. Some won't make sense at all. And really, the reason why I named some of these guys is because I think at the very least they're going to have good showings. Let me just start at the bottom here. I think two guys that are going to have a good showing in the Rumble but not win. Okay, so
I agree completely.
Chill out. Is Baron Corbin, first of all, and Elias. I could actually see Elias being one of their random Final Four guys. A lot of times when you do a Final Four in the Royal Rumble, it seems like someone random is always in there. So I could, and not that Elias is obscure, but in the scope of all the people who are probably going to be involved in this, he might be considered, in that category. So I'm going to say Baron Corbin and Elias, while they're probably not going to win at all, really, I don't see it happening at all, but I could see them having really good showings and maybe eliminating some people that you thought were going to win, if that makes sense. So those are two guys that I think to watch for in the Rumble and see how they perform. A lot of people have been down on Baron Corbin. and a lot of people are up on Elias right now. So I think those are two guys to watch. 4 guys. Okay, if I had to give you a final 4, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to give you Roman Reigns. I'm going to give you Shinsuke Nakamura. I'm going to give you Dolph Ziggler. And I'm going to give you Finn Balor. I think it's very similar to Rance's final 4. I think this feels like the right guys. I think Ziggler is coming back for this Rumble. I don't think it's going to be Finn simply because I feel like for some reason or another, it's kind of how Rance put it. Odds are you're going to have Braun or Brock as champion, and I don't really see Vince McMahon saying, all right, let's have Finn win and try and sell the gate with Brock versus Finn or Braun versus Finn. I just don't see that happening. It's nothing against Finn, who I've always been kind of down on, and of course now, me and him are cool now. Me and Finn are cool. So, yeah, it's we're cool. So I just don't see it. And as over as Finn is, let's not get that shit twisted at all. Finn Balor is a superstar. I just don't. For some reason, I don't think it's time. I think maybe we could see Finn get that title back at some point. But like Rance said, a Miz feud would be really good. So there's some things there that you could do. So I don't think it's going to be Finn Balor. In my predictions contest that I did, I'm just trying to get points to win a predictions contest. I don't think it through. I just go in and pick answers. I really don't. I don't think Roman's going to win the Rumble either. I picked him because to me it's logical. Just pick Roman, right? But I don't think it's going to be Roman simply for the fact that the Elimination Chamber is going to be where they decide that number 1 contender. And if they're going to do it there, that's the place to do it. Because if it's going to be Roman and Brock, if that's the way, and I think it is, if that's where they're going, I think that's the place to do it because it's not in Philadelphia. Okay, the Rumble's in Philly. We got to be smart here. We can't. Yep. You don't want them to shit all over this again. And I think if it happens in Philly, that's exactly what's going to happen. So I think that eliminates Roman from the equation. So that leaves me with Ziggler and Nakamura.
Actually, it is. Yeah, good point.
Which is kind of interesting because that was Nakamura's first feud. But, yeah. So here's the thing. I want to see Nakamura and AJ Styles at WrestleMania. I just don't. I'm real lost on this because I feel like we could get a situation where somehow we get AJ and Nakamura, but there is no title involved. I don't think it's going to happen, but I feel like it could. But I also really like the idea of the redemption, not the redemption necessarily, but Ziggler, who has had a ton of huge moments that have popped the crowd. The Survivor Series where he was the last man standing.
Absolutely.
His cash in. Ziggler has had some big moments. And getting so close, and a lot of people have been like, Ziggler's done now, right? He's done. It's over for Ziggler. We haven't, since Ziggler gave up the U.S. title, we haven't heard from him. So when I really sit down and think about it, I want to be different. Shinsuke is a great pick. It's a logical. Shinsuke is just as logical as Roman Reigns or anyone else, that you think, this is an absolute. And it's things that we've seen that could happen all year long. Things that if you paid attention to things and teases and things. But I'm going to pick Dolph Ziggler because I think it would be well received, actually. I do think it would still be well received. And it would be a shocking win, yes.
Oh, he'd be over.
But I also think if Dolph Ziggler were to eliminate, say, Roman Reigns to win it, so let's think about that, okay? And I really anybody who does it is probably if Roman Reigns is one of the last two guys.
That's why I don't think he will be. I think he's not going to be the final 4, in my opinion.
Smart decision. He may not. Yeah, he may not. So.
Miz.
I think I like to see. I would like to see a lot of guys win it. I'd really like to see someone like Elias win it, or Roman Reigns. The Miz is someone who I'd really like to see win a Rumble as well. But I think it's going to be Ziggler, and I think that doesn't necessarily mean. Remember, guys, winning the Rumble doesn't really mean shit these days. Like they can change that on the fly. Like Ziggler could win the Royal Rumble and it could still be Nakamura and AJ for the WWE title, or it could be a triple threat between Nakamura, AJ, and Ziggler. There's all kinds of shit they can do to change it. Okay, so but I do think Ziggler.
It's not as much. I like that prediction. It's not as long shot.
It's probably a long shot. It's maybe not by betting odds, but I do. Right. So I think that would be a cool moment for Ziggler, especially, who I do like, and I do, like to see something cool, something different happen. No, I don't want to see. I'm like, Caleb hates repeat winners. I don't mind it that much, but. In this instance, I think I would like to see someone different. So this seems like a good time to do it. So I'm going to take Dolph Ziggler here, and I want to point out real quick before we move on to the Women's Rumble, because it is important.
Hold on. Before we get there,
there are betting odds on Daniel Bryan winning this Rumble. And
I do want to say that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Another reason I don't think Dolph will win is because Dolph's hero is Ric Flair, but his other one is Shawn Michaels. Dolph could do the Shawn Michaels thing of, well, I'm the real United States champion and I'm back.
Yeah.
And lead to a unification, maybe a unification ladder match between Rude and Ziggler or whatever, something to that order, right? That could be done in homage to his guy, right?
Sure.
Dolph thinks he's Shawn anyway.
Right.
And you mentioned Baron Corbin. I think it's important for me to say this. I think Baron Corbin will have the most eliminations. So,
okay,
he's gonna have a great show because they have to build him up and do something with him.
I think. But
before we move on to women's, I have two questions I want to ask you that are pertinent to the Rumble. Number one, who do you see being a surprise entrant? And you can't count Daniel Bryan. And number two, because do you think Daniel Bryan's in the Rumble or not? Do you think Daniel Bryan will be in the Rumble or not? So, who is the surprise entrant, and do you think Bryan?
I think Daniel Bryan. What? Okay, let me answer the Daniel Bryan question first.
Yes.
Because no, I don't think Daniel Bryan's going to be in the Rumble, because I think it'll be a fucking disaster. Seriously, and I'm not like, it's nothing against Daniel Bryan. It will be cool, but if Daniel Bryan is in that Rumble and doesn't win, it's a disaster. You absolutely cannot do that, okay? I would love to see it, and I would love to see him be in it, and whether he won or not, it would be cool. I wouldn't be upset, okay? But he does not need to be in this match, because it's not going to be well received if he gets tossed. So we need to let's just remember that. To answer your first question, as far as surprise entrant goes, I'm going to go ahead and say EC3. They've signed a few guys. I could see someone out of NXT camp
not at all.
Showing up.
No chance.
Hell, I could see him throwing Ricochet in there.
He won't be in. No way.
That doesn't mean that he's going to be in the main roster or anything.
They're not even calling him Ricochet. He's being called Trevor Mann.
The only reason I say that
put
is
him on the
damn
Royal Rumble match, bro. There's no way. I get your reasoning. Yeah, I get your reasoning, but no, I'm sorry.
Right. No, I'm just saying that would be cool. But I think it's gonna be Ethan Carter the third. We know he's
he is not officially
has he
signed.
Been officially signed? I haven't read anything that he has. Okay. Right. So I think that would be a cool one. I think a lot of people, know who EC3 is. He's been in the WWE before. And he went to TNA, whatever. He was in TNA there, and he did great. Like, he had a good run there. So I think that might be the men's surprise. I think there are going to be some other options. I can't really think of any off the top of my head. There might be some random ass, legend or something that shows up. Don't discount someone like Triple H being in it, but I don't think that's going to happen. So yeah, that would be
one that nobody's expecting.
I'll say EC3. Nobody crazy. I don't have any crazy.
Brian's not going to be in the Rumble. I have.
Okay.
I'm the biggest guy screaming for Brian not to wrestle, because he has a life. He has a family. He's injured, and even if he's cleared, doesn't mean that he's healthy. Clearing you doesn't mean you're healthy.
Right.
But I think Neville comes back. I'm gonna tell you why I think he comes back. The story
that'd be great.
came out. I say the story. I mean, it's not a story, but news came out that his contract's been frozen. As you know what, fans, y'all might hate this, but fuck it. As it should be. You cannot
Right.
sign a contract to work somewhere and walk off your fucking job and expect to be compensated. And when I'm compensated by now, I don't mean by getting paid, but by get what you want.
Right.
So they can't. So I'm for first ones they have to pay you because you signed a contract. So I'm just gonna go walk away, go home, and then my contract will be up and I can do what I want. That's not how things work. You signed a contract to work so many dates. You have to work. So yes, it should have been frozen. But if Neville really wants to be done, he's going to have to come back to work. Right? And with 205 Live going in a different direction, he doesn't have to go back to 205 Live anymore because it's different now. So I think he comes back in the Rumble.
Yeah. That'd be great. I'd love to see it because I'm a big Neville fan. So, okay. That's awesome. So we're almost home. There's only one more match to cover, and it is the Women's Royal Rumble, the first ever Women's Royal Rumble. Stephanie McMahon is going to be on commentary. As we all know, she invented wrestling, women's wrestling. If the internet would have you believe it, but that's fine. And I really, honestly, before we even start talking about the match, we can talk about Stephanie on commentary. I don't have much to say. Honestly, I don't think it's a big deal. It's fine. Like, a lot of people were like, well, why not Renee Young? And I get that. Renee's cool too. I would be fine if they did an all women panel there for the Royal Rumble. That'd be fine with me. Like, I mean, I think, as a matter of fact, I think that'd be cool.
If they had really talk about this Renee thing. Y'all realize she tried doing commentary.
Someone else.
Bad
I don't care. Right.
Sure.
And that's fine. And I'm not like, but I'm not anybody, like being a proponent for anybody as much as I'm just saying if they wanted to do like.
Me neither. And I love Renee.
But
there's a reason she's not doing
match.
commentary. Because she's not good at it. She's great at her job.
Right. So I don't know. I mean,
if I talk about Stephanie, I'm a shoot, so I don't want to do it. She gets the most undue hate of. Her and Triple H get the most undue hate of any wrestler or any wrestling personality ever. This includes Vince. This includes Kevin Dunn. This includes everybody. They get the most undue hate because Stephanie is so good at being a heel that people believe that she's the heel she plays on TV. Stephanie's one of the most loved people backstage. Yes, she is. And just because one person didn't like her doesn't mean everybody hates her. Please don't, because I will shoot. Yes.
Right. So let's not get too far into it because Rance is getting angry. So let's just go right into the Women's Rumble. I'm going to let you do it the same way you did.
It's easier for the women because
kind of do it the way,
Paige
unless you want to do it a different way. Kind of do it how you did with the women.
Ronda will not be there. And I should have asked that afterwards, but Ronda won't be there. I don't think she will. Ronda's not the type to lie. She's not a kayfabe person. She's not a wrestling personality. When she's getting on the plane to go out of the country to film a movie, she probably is really telling the truth. So she's not going to be there. But I will say this: the disappointment I have with this Rumble is really, really heavy because Paige is hurt. Because Paige is my pick. And I'm glad that that they didn't make her. But they haven't acknowledged that she has to retire for good, because I think that would put a damper on the Rumble. Because I mean, it was one thing if you're hurt, like Joe's hurt, so he's probably gonna miss the Rumble, but he's not. He can't never. It's not like he can never wrestle again, so there's no damper. But with the year Paige has had and her comeback and all this, so yes, Paige was my original pick. But the three people I think that are, and you'll probably agree with this, that are the only people that have a chance to win, in my opinion, are Becky Lynch, Nia Jax, and Asuka. Who's your fourth? Curious.
I'm going to add a fourth to mine. Okay. I do think someone else could win it, but go ahead.
So
we'll talk about it. I want to say
Nia won't win because Giants never win, right? Giants never win. But I'm gonna explain why Nia is going to be why I put Nia as a possible when I'm done at the end of this. So that leaves Becky or Asuka in my opinion, right? So I believe there's gonna be 4 horsewomen versus 4 horsewomen. That would lead to Becky not wrestling for a championship between now and April. If they do pivot to Charlotte, Becky, and Sasha, Bayley separately at Mania, then yeah, I can see her winning. But I don't see that happening. And Becky is, again, earlier when I was talking NXT TakeOver, Bryan, Sammy, Gargano, Becky falls in that line of she bleeds pure white. Like she is pure babyface. They love to fuck over the babyface.
Yeah.
They live for it. So that leaves Asuka. And then Asuka's not going to lose.
Oh, yeah.
Asuka ain't losing. She's not. She's not going to. She is not going to lose. And then you know what? If you're going to go all out and have a Japanese man win, let a Japanese woman win. Go all out there. You know what I'm saying? Why not? But Asuka is the most dominant personality. She is.
Sure.
She's the most dominant personality. She has not lost a match since she has been signed to the company. I just don't see her losing. To the Nia Jax thing. My prediction for WrestleMania for the Royal Women's Championship match is Alexa versus Nia versus Asuka. My reasoning for that is because the one match that we haven't gotten that has been built is Alexa versus Nia. And they keep finding reasons to not do that match. And a big part of the reason is in real life, they are the absolute best of friends and they have a great rapport, which makes it interesting. Like they're the best of friends. So their rapport is so interesting that you kind of don't want to put them against each other. But again, all of my thoughts are rooted in storyline, not just a storyline I see coming, but storyline that has already happened. Alexa was jealous of Nia and Enzo. Enzo's gone, but that's still canon, right? She tried to pit Nia. Nia's always done Alexa's dirty work, right? Always. Nia tried to pit Alexa against Asuka because Asuka beat Alexa clean. And Alexa knows I can't beat Asuka one-on-one, but I got this big giant behind me. I'm good. So I think Nia's finally gonna get sick of her shit. Right? Which eventually she will. And so I understand we're taught big guys, big wrestlers are heel, right? Everything about Nia is a babyface. The fact that she's dealt with her body images and what her empowerment for women and her background, and she has a really beautiful smile. Like she's a babyface. She's just playing this role because she's a big person. But I think with Alexa as the conniving, scared heel in the Miz role, Nia as the giant babyface who's been wronged, and Asuka as the tweener, dominant force who don't give a fuck, just wants the title, can be very compelling, right? Which is why I see Nia playing a big role. So yeah, that's it. And I do have my 2 follow-up questions after you finish, like I did with the first one. That'll kind of
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. We'll do that. So let me start by saying I completely agree with your first 3 there. I agree with Nia Jax. I agree with Becky Lynch. I agree with Asuka. I think they're all going to make a huge impact.
Okay.
Keep me in the camp who thinks that Rousey's still going to show up somehow. I'm not going to be upset if she doesn't. I don't expect it to happen. But go ahead and put me in that camp for that moment. If it happens, it would be cool as shit, I think. So I'm going to say, I'll hope, but I won't be upset if it doesn't happen. So I want to talk about, I want to talk about someone, and you're not going to agree. I know you've seen my predictions, and that's fine. I want to talk about someone who I think could actually win this. And it's a complete dark horse. It wouldn't be necessarily out of nowhere. And that's Ruby Riott. And the reason why I bring her up, listen now. I don't like I feel like there has to be some kind of surprise here because Dolph Ziggler to me is already like not really like if that that would be the surprise if it happens. But I also don't expect that to happen. I expect it to be Roman or Nakamura, which wouldn't be a big surprise. I feel like most people will be like, oh yeah, okay. I feel like this Rumble needs a surprise, and I also don't feel like we can have you get say. I feel like it's going to be one face and one heel. I don't think it necessarily, or it might be one brand and the other brand, but I don't, and I get going in those directions, but the way I would like to see it, and this is just me personally, because once again, as I've said before, it's the first ever Women's Royal Rumble, and that's a big deal. But in the grand scheme, WWE has shown us over the years that the Royal Rumble really isn't that big of a deal. It used to be.
Make it a bigger deal than they do.
Right, but I love the Rumble. It's my favorite pay-per-view. I will say this: if I was going to do this for a shock victory like that, it involves all kinds of crazy shit happening. Just want to clear that out first of all.
Agreed.
But I think Nia is going to get the most eliminations. I think she's going to get dumped out by a group of people probably. That just seems like, and I don't think she's even going to make the final four. From my honest opinion, I think that a final for me a really good final three would be Asuka, Becky, and Ruby. And I'm just FYI guys, I'm predicting Ruby to win. This is fun for me. Okay, I don't think it's going to happen. Okay,
because I'm going to
everybody if you're shitting on my prediction, I don't care because I don't foresee it happening. But if it does, you're all going to be kissing my feet. It's just FYI. But it's one of these things. Like I would love to see Asuka and Becky square off, and everyone is like, Asuka ain't losing, Asuka ain't losing, Asuka ain't losing, and that's fine. I just don't see it being a big deal.
No, I don't think so either.
If Asuka gets tossed over the top rope in this match, like why? To me, like if you're in a match with a lot of other women, like are you really? Is that going to go down? It's not a singles loss. You know what I mean? Like to me, that's irrelevant. Like the fact that she's undefeated, honestly, is irrelevant to me. And it may not be to other people, and that's fine. And of course, conventional wisdom would say Asuka probably will win this thing. But I feel like it would be a great moment. One of two things happening because to me it's a
SmackDown star.
It's
basically
the person I'm picking, Ruby, or it's Becky Lynch. To me, that's who it is. Yeah, I feel like if you're going to do this, you either obviously Ruby plays no part, right, and it comes down to Becky and Asuka, or not even Becky and Asuka, but just something crazy, and Becky gets a surprise dump over of Asuka. Say Asuka eliminates someone, and Becky's just in the right place at the right time, and she dumps Asuka over the top. Big shock. Everyone loves Becky. Cheer, 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 rah, rah, rah. Then there's also the other thing, which is Becky does something, cheer, cheer, rah, 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 and oh yeah.
And you think that's Ruby.
A heel is still in this match. And what does the heel do? The heel dumps her over. And then you've got your heel winner. Huh? I think it could be. I don't think like I said, I don't think it will happen. But I think I would like to see a real shock, which is why I mean, if you show me the men's Royal Rumble, I would totally flip out for someone like Rusev winning. It's not going to happen. You know what I'm saying? But like I want to see with the women's Rumble, this feels like it doesn't have to be like it's the first ever. Like make it's important, but it doesn't have to be some well-established superstar necessarily. I feel like you could automatically make it a big deal for someone who's making the name for themselves right now by saying, by the way, she won the first Royal Rumble. Kind of like how Carmella won the first Money in the Bank, right? Carmella wasn't
but she wasn't the story
was big star like everyone, like most of the people in that match.
Win, and a man won it for her, which led to everybody revolting against her. The man getting suspended, her having to win it again. Like there was a story behind it. What story can you tell with Ruby? She's already lost to Charlotte.
Right. But see, I don't feel like Okay, let's put it this way. I don't feel like you need. I feel like you could tell a story. They've got writers that know how to write. Okay, I feel like you can tell a story. If they can't figure out how to tell that story, that's on them. Okay, like, and here's my other thing. It's the same thing with Nakamura.
Yes.
Okay, AJ and Nakamura have a history already, right? You could write a story with Nakamura. Yeah. But AJ Nakamura has pretty much just floundered ever since he got there. It's not like if he wins, it's like, oh yeah, man, they've been building to this. We knew it.
Yeah.
You know, like he's been doing nothing but losing and blah.
So hold on,
or whatever.
What I'm saying, I might be partial. I'm not saying that it has to be the top superstar or the most superstar with the most momentum going into it. I'm not saying that. I'm saying it needs to be a superstar that at least is relevant. And I know you love Ruby. But Ruby is a nobody in the grand scheme of things. Her group is trash. Ruby isn't a compelling character. Is she a great wrestler? Yes. Is she interesting? Yes. Do we love her because of what she did before she got there? Yes. But nothing on SmackDown about Ruby Riott is interesting. Nothing. Not a thing. Zero. And that's no diss to her because I love her. And I know you love her, so I'm sorry to say this so, so matter of factly, but nothing. If there was something, then I could at least say, man, well, I can see that's where you're thinking from that. There's nothing.
Right.
There's nothing.
But see, and this is going to sound really bad. And it's not completely correct either. But that's almost where I'm getting at.
You come from with that, at least with Shinsuke. Yeah.
Like, I'm getting to a point. Like, he was very interesting at first, right? Cool entrance, whatever. Like, at this point right now, if you were to tell me, okay, yeah, we're going to get AJ and Nakamura, that's fine. But I don't really care. Like, I really don't. Like, and so that's why, like, for me, like, however they're going to go about this, to me, smart money is on Asuka. To me,
probably, I would agree with you on that.
The right choice, like the actual right choice, is Becky. But as far as like shock value goes, I could see it would be interesting to see someone like Carmella win the Royal Rumble for the simple fact that she's still got the briefcase. I love that idea. It's an idea that I like. She goes into WrestleMania with a title shot. She loses, cashes in her briefcase. It's, you know what I mean? Just there's all kinds of shit you can do there, which I like. I just want to see something. I just would like to see a shock, like something where nobody's really expecting it, because I get tired of run of the mill.
No, it's not.
I feel like
she's a favorite.
A Becky win is not that shocking. I don't. Like, I feel like Asuka winning is not shocking. You know what I mean? Like, I would like to see one of these Rumbles, one of them, give me some shock value, some actual shock value, not just with a surprise entrant, not with the return of Neville, not with Beth Phoenix coming down and being in the Women's Royal Rumble, which is cool, whatever, nostalgia. I want to see something shocking. And that's why I chose her, because my initial pick was Paige. But I feel like, and because they tried to mirror the two groups, I feel like it wouldn't be as good, but I feel like you could just flip that role onto her. The problem is her group. I think Ruby would be better on her own. But I also think a match like, with Charlotte as champion, having to deal with all three of them, as well as a match that those two could probably put on that would be really great for a card. I feel like you actually could have a really good match out of that. But WrestleMania, is very with how it is. So that's the only reason I would too. I'm not expecting it to happen.
Ruby winning,
just FYI,
Ruby
would
love
to see something shocking, and that's kind of why.
So maybe that's where I'm coming from, and that's not her fault. Well, it's partially her fault, but it's not completely her fault because she was miscast.
Right.
Okay. So my follow-up questions.
Right.
Number one, is Stephanie going to be in the Rumble or not?
Yeah.
And number two, what surprise do you see? And I really want to ask want to say what surprise do you see that's not already expected, but if whatever you give me, because there's 18 people scheduled, so there's 12 people, Okay.
Yeah. I'm not gonna give you Ronda Rousey. So don't worry. I'll give you something different. It's for funsies, okay? Because I'll with the Rumble, there's so much craziness. I can have fun with this, and it may not ever happen. It probably won't happen, but it's fun. So, do I see Stephanie being in the Rumble? Man,
All right, good.
Yes. And that's hard for me to answer because I really
okay.
don't think she should, but I do think she should. Like with Stephanie is who Stephanie is. She is her character, not the person outside of WWE. Okay, Stephanie, the character, is a lot of people hate her guts. To me, she's one of the best heels. Period. And it would be very Stephanie the heel to try and enter herself into this thing and win. Okay, it would be very Stephanie the heel, which is why I do think it's going to happen. It's not going to work out for her, but I do think it's going to happen. And people are going to get pissed until she gets thrown over the top. I think people are. It's like the anti Daniel Bryan. It's like here comes Daniel Bryan. Yeah, he's in the Rumble. We better fucking
lose,
right? And then he gets done. And then Stephanie. Oh fuck, not Stephanie, man. She better fucking lose. That's kind of, if they do it, that's what's going to happen. I do not think Stephanie McMahon is going to win the Rumble. I don't think that. I don't want it's not going to happen. Okay, it's not. If it does, I'm not going to be mad. I'll probably laugh, but I'm going to be very like, oh god, what have they done?
Oh my god!
It's like the fuck.
Cancel the WWE Network.
Like
will be
if Roman and Stephanie both won their 2 Rumbles on Sunday, right? So here's someone that I think, and of course this goes back to, of course, Triple H had his conference call where he said no NXT people or no newly signed people will go straight up. They'll go through NXT. But
that's fine.
That doesn't mean that she can't be in the Rumble. I'm going to give you 2 people. Okay, is that okay? Can I give you 2? One. I think we're going to see Peyton Royce, and probably Billie Kay as well. I'm not going to include her, but I think we're going to see Peyton Royce, the iconic duo. And they haven't really done much on NXT in a while. Yes. To me, it's time they can come up and be compelling immediately. So Peyton Royce is one, but the one that I really think would be fun and I would like to see is Candice LeRae. I don't know that it'll happen. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. I think she would be more likely than, like you said, Trevor Mann. But partially I say that because there's more open spots. And Candice would be a fun entrant. And as a matter of fact, it would be kind of cool to see Candice come in and maybe last a few minutes. You know what I mean? So that would be someone that I think you could potentially see. Those would be my 2.
I'm going to answer the Stephanie question
So, floor is yours.
Because I have a story to tell.
Okay.
My 2 surprise entrants are the Bella Twins. And I put that under surprise because Nikki, her neck is still messed up. So I don't even know if she's cleared, or we know she's cleared. And Bridges had a baby. But the beauty of the Rumble is you ain't got to do much.
Right.
So I think that would be a real shock. And I'm sure the fans
that's true.
The male fans will hate that because the women love the Bellas. Most of the women love the Bellas to a certain extent. As far as Stephanie, so Stephanie will be in the Rumble. Stephanie will be number 30 in the Rumble. Stephanie's going to lose, but I think either Sasha or Bayley's going to throw her out. And I think that leads to her saying, all right. So the way I see it happening is maybe Sasha or Bayley or what's her name? Or Becky. Damn, I just forgot her name. Sorry. One of them throwing her out, and all 3 of them laughing, which leads to Stephanie trying to make their lives hell, which leads to her getting Ronda, Shayna, and so on and so forth. That's what I think. And so, I'm still convinced it's 4 horsemen,
right.
4 horsewomen, but again, I can see the pivot to Becky, Charlotte. But the way I would build that match would be Heavy four horsewomen, the wrestling version, versus Ronda, versus Shayna, and then Jessamine and Marina Shafir aren't ready. The other two are Natty, because Natty is like the honorary fourth horsewoman, and so who can actually bridge the gap with wrestling, and Stephanie being the fourth, with Marina and Jessamine at ringside. Now tell me that's not a match that's going to get everybody involved. Casuals, hardcores, everybody. Well, this is.
I would watch it. I mean, I'm down. I'm gonna watch it regardless because I'll be there. Yeah. So but we are at their mercy at this point. So if they decide to put Mojo Rawley in the main event against Zack Ryder for the WWE
you don't have your ticket.
WWE title,
so you can't sell it till we get there. I might
sell my ticket then. I don't know. We'll see. But I'll scalp it on the way in. So yeah, that's the Royal Rumble, guys, and a little bit of NXT Takeover. We went longer than I thought we were going to. But it's the Rumble, so you kind of have to, right? So with that being said, any final thoughts? Anything
I will say this. I do think that the fans
say good afternoon
will leave Sunday a lot more optimistic than they have in prior years, and not a Randy Orton optimistic because anybody but Roman type deal, but we like what you did type deal. I really do think that. One more thing. On the column on Social Suplex,
and I am going to.
So I said Neville will be my surprise. My other surprise is Tommy Dreamer. Yeah, they did Bully last time they were in Philly a few years ago.
I got you.
But Bully's been a part of the company since then, so that's not a surprise. Plus, Bully's retired. So yeah, Tommy.
Okay, that sounds good to me. Also, wouldn't be surprised to see maybe Jericho
not, but Jericho won't be at WrestleMania, so it's kind of irrelevant because he's booked. He has shows, Fozzy shows, so there's no way.
Right. Yeah. So I don't really have any final thoughts. That's pretty much it. I hope everybody enjoys the show and tries to get themselves geared up. This is the show that should really get you geared up for the beginning of WrestleMania season. This is kind of what it all leads to. It'll be probably the first time we see the WrestleMania sign, as someone needs to point to the WrestleMania sign when they win their Rumble. So, yeah. So I hope everyone, enjoys it. The Rumble is usually a lot of fun. A lot of people get caught up in the results, and I'm not one of those people, but the Rumble itself usually can be a lot of fun. So I hope you all enjoy it.
Yes.
I hope you enjoyed the show. Rance, you want to throw the all the handles?
So first and foremost, want to give
all the shout out,
some love to the homie Caleb. Follow him on Twitter at SMC_CalB. We hope to get this motherfucker back eventually, but we're gonna make it work. Follow the podcast at the SMC Podcast. You can also email us at the SMC Podcast at gmail.com. Please email us. We will email you back. We're good with that. If you have any, disagree, agree, think we're stupid, think we're crazy, whatever. Follow Social Suplex at Social Suplex. Follow Ricky and Clive at Ricky and Clive. Happy birthday, Ricky. Follow One Nation Radio at One Nation Radio. Follow Keeping It Strong Style at KI Strong Style. Find Social Suplex Podcast Network anywhere you get your podcast. Apple Music, Stitcher, Podbean, which is what we host them on. Anywhere you find them, just search Social Suplex Podcast Network. You'll find us. You'll get it. Leave us a review, 5 stars, as Jeremy would say. Put us over. I think we're still doing the T-shirt giveaway. I'm not sure, but if we still are, the way you can get involved with that is leave us a 5-star review. Let us know that you did it. Send us an email at the SMC podcast at gmail.com, or at Jeremy at socialsuplex.com, or just tweet us or something that you did it, and you'll be entered in a raffle, and we'll buy you the wrestling shirt of your choice. And I'm pretty sure it's not limited to WWE, so you Bullet Club fans out there will get one of those. I'm not buying it. Karl's not buying it. Jeremy's gonna buy it probably.
We ain't buying that shit. I'm not buying
But
it.
hey,
Just kidding.
again, I'm a Bullet Club OG fan.
There you go.
I like Tama Tonga. You know, Kenny Omega's the best wrestler in the world. But yeah. So there's that. Yeah, man, we appreciate you. Yeah, so oh yeah, I have a Twitter, don't I? Yeah, at It's Ray Cash.
Did you give your own?
REY as in Mysterio, CASH as in dollars.
Yeah.
Please follow us all individually and follow our podcast, because the plan is, just like we did for Route 25, and we're probably going to do this for big shows, we're going to live tweet. So hit us up, because if there's anything as fun as Route 25 was, it's going to be a blast. So yeah, so holler at us on those mediums, and thank you guys for listening.
No doubt.
Karl, it's all you, babe.
All right. So yeah, you can Rance throughout all the shout outs and all the handles to follow. It's a lot of people to follow, but a lot of good people to follow. As he said, we'll probably do a little bit of live tweeting for the Royal Rumble. I didn't really want to, but I will. Mostly because I try. It's hard for me to keep up, so I'm hoping that I just pick the hour where there isn't a Royal Rumble going on, because I'm an asshole like that. But like you said, follow us at the SMC podcast for that, and for other reasons. It's a good way to find out when me, Rance, and Caleb will throw out the tweets when our show comes out. But just another thing to follow. We like to get on there and post polls and questions and stuff. So there's a lot of good things going on there. We need more followers on that damn handle too. We don't have a lot, so hit that follow button. We are. And for me, you can follow me at KERVINSMC.
Everybody should
I probably tweet more than the rest of the crew. Me or Caleb, one of the two. Just the things that I tweet just aren't as ridiculous as Caleb. So, he likes to tweet random song lyrics and stuff, and I'm like, what are you talking about? So don't put Caleb over, but put me over for sure. And the ongoing beef with Caleb continues. And yeah, guys, thanks for listening once again. We really appreciate all the support. And hope everyone enjoys the Royal Rumble. Hope everyone enjoys the NXT Takeover. And God bless you. Have a good evening.